This young man stood with his hands majestically against other teammates. I almost died because of these idiots. If it weren't for me, you guys would have died. Regardless of him, his teammates didn't care. They were afraid to pee in their pants and point back and run away. No matter what the boss says. High-level monster, dash. Standing in front of the monster, Kang Dakil is just a tiny ant. Now, he doesn't need to be shameless, curl his thighs and run fast. But bad luck came again. For some reason he lost his sword. He tried to reach out as if he couldn't, silently calculating his plan. Damn it, his sword. If I want to survive in a place like this, I need a decoy. And so he immediately said he would do it, so he raised his foot and kicked Mang Siwoo directly next to him. After that, he turned around and smirked. It was you, Mang Siwoo. He lost momentum and lay still on the ground. Monsters had chased him right behind, and his body had no strength left. Looking at the sharp teeth expanding right on the top of his head, Mang Siwoo had only one thought. I'm gone like this. During this time, old memories suddenly appeared. He remembered his mother's instructions before he died to protect Seo Ah with dignity. Having this source of spiritual encouragement, even Mang Siwoo seemed to have more strength, so he took the boss's sword. Determined not to die here, at least because his little sister must survive at all costs. Facing the monster, Mang Siwoo just rushed forward. No matter what, unexpectedly, when his attack was pushed away by someone, the monster also became a piece of shredded meat under his feet. Mang Siwoo sat up, his eyes wide open in surprise, looking at the young blonde man in front of him, wondering who this was. Not knowing what happened, another white-haired man full of tattoos came out screaming. Where are you hiding, you bastard? Who else? Mang Siwoo thought bewilderedly, and then somehow both of them suddenly rushed in and kicked. A source of immense power, making even high-ranking spiders and monsters tremble. They are overwhelming creatures. The two sides are equally talented, fighting continuously with neither side, giving in to the other side. Mang Siwoo witnessed this scene without being bewildered. The white-haired guy angrily asked where the blonde was hiding something, but the other guy didn't answer and continued to rush into a fight. At this rate, you will hurt yourself, said the white hair. The blonde didn't care, counterattacked, and looked towards Mang Siwoo with a shady smile. I don't care because I left a door open, sorry for getting you into this, I left it for you. As soon as the words ended, an earth-shattering explosion immediately occurred, and the other guy committed a suicide bombing. Mang Siwoo crawled up from the ruins, and picked up the phone under his feet, wondering what was going on, and why was this phone there. Along with that on the screen is a notification line. Check the connection path, and complete the management position succession. Welcome to GaTube. Mang Siwoo didn't understand anything but still temporarily pocketed it. After returning, Mang Siwoo began to sit and research the phone he collected. GaTube is a free website where people can upload videos. Among all the channels, the most famous is the Hunter channel. However, gods from myths, characters from legends, heroes, and legendary entities open this channel. Mang Siwoo looked at it for a while and then exclaimed. But he still hadn't found that blonde young man's channel, and the reason why he gave him this phone was extremely confusing. Thinking about it, an idea suddenly flashed through his mind. But if it's true, if they open a channel on GaTube, there will be at least 1 million subscribers. Let's see if it doesn't look bad, try it once and see how it goes. Mang Siwoo surfed for a while, randomly picked up a channel, and signed up. You have subscribed to Zhuge Liang's channel. Subscribe to channel 1/3 to get S+ knowledge. Mang Siwoo was bewildered and surprised when reading these announcements. Because S+ only exists as a classification, not a true rank. The people who fought against the Demon King, 13 heroes, everyone thought they possessed the S+ feature, yet he got it, just by the registration button. It was bullshit. But he didn't feel anything, or maybe it was just because it only enhanced his observation ability and intelligence, so he invited it. To find something different, Mang Siwoo decided to find another channel to subscribe to. Immediately after that, the message rang out again. And you subscribe to Hercules' channel receiving the Super Offender Power SS. Mang Siwoo slammed the table and screamed. What is SS rank? As soon as the words ended, the iPad on the table also fell into 100 pieces. The young man was extremely panicked, sat cross-legged, and began to analyze the situation. Oh my god, I received the SS rank characteristic. But just click register, I don't understand, what is this GaTube? While he didn't understand what the hell was going on, notifications kept coming. Inside S+ proficiency has slightly increased due to thinking hard. Mang Siwoo realized it needed to reach 100% to fully receive the feature. So he immediately opened Hercules' personal training video to watch. Oh well, what pants are those? He was squeezing the whole pillar up as a weight training head, what the hell? Mang Si-woo knew he couldn't do it, so he quickly pressed unsubscribe. Understanding why he only has one registrant, I can never do that. But it's too late, honey, the irrevocable message slammed into his face, Hercules reminded bitterly. You can come at any time, but you can't leave. The young man is sure to die, the channel has been registered for 2/3, and now there is only one channel left, so I have to accept the fate. While he was confused, the son of a bitch Kang Dokil suddenly called. Wondering for a moment, Mang Si-woo decided to pick up the phone to see what the hell he was talking about. But the first sentence I heard was that I wanted to turn it off, but this guy didn't have time to suddenly call just to make fun of me. SH Group wants to cooperate to stream together, do you want to participate? Kang Dokil said. Mang Si-woo heard that shocking. SH Group is known as the #1 financial company in Korea. Recently the group's niece awakened 2S rank characteristics of a hunter. He guessed for sure that they wanted to join this hunting industry. Seeing that he disagreed with him, Kang Dokil continued to say he would pay 5,000 for each video. Mang Si-woo's answer is still no. Hey, that's 10 times more, this is a win-win transaction for both parties. So how much do you want? The old boss replied bitterly. Mang Si-woo frankly gave the number he felt was best at 50,000. Kang Dokil shouted on the other end of the line in confusion. Are you crazy, do you think you have that price? Kang Dokil still used his intelligent mind to criticize him. Let me see why SH Group wants stream with you and not S-rank hunters. Very clearly, his niece, awakening to the 2S rank characteristics, SH Group President Han Taizan will certainly not just sit and watch. He wanted his niece to learn the basics first and what the basics for hunters were, which was how to hunt monsters. The reason your channel has 210,000 subscribers and can make money is all like my unique analytical ability. So the reason President Han Taizan chose you is not because of yourself but because of my knowledge. If you can't borrow money or something, find someone else. After listening, Kang Dokil didn't know what to say. If he didn't agree, he had to agree. If he didn't have money, he had to have money. The next day, they all went to Rank B dungeon as scheduled, because the other boss still hadn't transferred enough money. Mang Si-woo kept asking to make him angry. I told you I would transfer when this trip ended, but Han Charon will arrive at some point. As soon as the words ended, the niece of the chairman of SH Group also appeared lurking behind, urging everyone to quickly depart. Mang Si-woo looked at the girl with constant sweat. Is this girl Han Charon so pretty, but it will be difficult to approach her. Well, as long as I get the money, it's okay, I'll just get the job done for myself, he whispered. The group enthusiastically went inside, facing a black troll. Kang Dokil proudly stood up to explain as Mang Si-woo had told him before. That monster is ranked B+, among the B-rank monsters. It may be a B-rank monster but with the ability to recover as close to immortality. Those who don't know how to attack will die. The tactic everyone knows is to tear that black troll apart, attack its heart, and cut off its head. Until the black troll could no longer recover, Kang Dokil was about to pull out his sword and gain prestige when Han Charon stole the spotlight. She rushed up at the speed of light, stabbed it right in the heart, then pulled her sword back, cut a line right at the black troll's head, then landed and exclaimed. It's easy. Makes everyone gasp in surprise. Seeing that, Kang Dokil immediately came to flatter her, thinking about how she could easily destroy it after hearing the explanation, as expected from a rank S hunter. After listening, Han Charon wanted to punch him in the mouth and used her sword to cut the conversation aside. Ah, that's Aurelian's weapon, considered the strongest artifact I've heard of, that bar is so much. Mang Si-woo couldn't help but just point and ask. Han Charon responded calmly, about 20 billion. The others were startled again, not daring to come half a meter closer to it. Seeing that they had been talking nonsense all this time, she urged. But I can't get used to it with just a troll, go deeper. And then an hour later, they all beat the trolls almost without a single one. Han Charon saw that her skills were fine, so she decided to end this trip here. Kang Dokil held her hand and bowed to flatter her. You did very well. His mouth spoke and laughed happily, but there was all hatred in his heart. Fuck, I think this will be a good opportunity to be escorted by an SH hunter. But I can't do anything and I'm about to be robbed of 50 million won by that bastard Mang Si-woo. Just as he thought, the young man was carrying the camera and looking at him, smiling in contempt. But without having time to let them have time for their love, the dungeon suddenly shook continuously. Kang Dokil shined before the opportunity, his mouth began to work continuously. Well, based on this size, isn't that a high-level monster? However, Meng Siwu disagreed. No, this is not a high-level monster, it is a boss. Immediately a huge super boss jumped out and raised his hand to try to high-five with the whole group. Han Charon quickly pulled out her sword to support her. The tall, muscular men from earlier were still acting. Now they all run like dogs. The boss still refused to let go. He beat her a few meters away, then picked up the stone and threw it towards the guys running in front. Kang Dakil had flattered her earlier, but now he ran away faster than anyone. But it's unlucky. How come the boss blocked the way? Luckily Han Charon again, she risked her life to support her. Even though the injury was not light, she still refused to give up. It was the temperament of a rank S hunter, unlike some rank B. However, human strength is small, there's nothing that can be done about this giant monster. Han Charon was almost beaten to death. Looking at this scene, Meng Siwu was scared, stood aside, and silently observed, even Han Charon. Even if she's an S-rank hunter, she's just an inexperienced newbie, we can't win. What I can choose is to ignore her and run away. Otherwise, I will die or trust Gotube's superpower SS, which I don't know what its rank is. The more Meng Siwu thought about it, the more confused he felt. Looking at the damn old boss screaming next to him, the more he thought. They can't win or they will die humiliatingly, money will gain prestige, and when they die those things are useless. However, if you leave Han Charon here and run away, then you are no different from that trash bastard Kang Dakil, who abandoned you and ran away. And so with that thought, Meng Siwu quickly ran towards Han Charon and shouted for her to attack. With just one hand, he was able to withstand the boss's attack, then stood there proudly preparing for the fight. Han Charon was rescued, bewildered, silently wondering. He got his fist, what the hell is he? On Meng Siwu's side, he was still continuously using his body to defend against the boss's attacks. At this moment, he glanced at Han Charon. She understood immediately rushed forward and stabbed it straight into its heart and landed on the cool ground, then cut off the boss's neck. But it's not done yet, it can still move. Meng Siwu looked forward, and wisely the S+ rank started to work. He brainstormed a bit. No, something is not right, there are many types of bosses, that can change shape too, so the change will happen naturally. The boss's head which had been cut off earlier was connected to his body. He didn't give the two of them time to think, so he immediately used his hand to reach Han Charon and squeeze her tightly. Han Charon cried out in pain, and Meng Siwu looked in panic and fear. No, if she dies everything will be over, but I can't do anything. If every characteristic I get from Gotube is real, even if they are weak now, and if they are my strength, I can buy a little time. Thinking about it, he used all his energy to aim for the boss's finger, breaking it and screaming in despair, aiming for its heart. Han Charon also rose with all her might, using all her strength to rush to the boss's heart and slash. Not having much time to explain how to attack the troll, Meng Siwu could only scream that she could understand, the troll has two hearts. But if you don't understand, you have to understand, if you don't understand, you will only log out of the Earth server. With her sixth sense, Han Charon used all her strength to pull out her sword, jump high, and plug it straight into the troll's second heart. Realizing that the time had come, Meng Siwu jumped up with his fist. Now die you motherfucker. As soon as the words ended, the monster also cried out in pain, his body also fell into 100 pieces, but accordingly, Meng Siwu also lay motionless on the ground. By the time he woke up, his eyes were open and the ceiling of the hospital and Han Charon were waiting next to him. What are you doing here? Meng Siwu suddenly shouted. Han Charon was kind but was interrogated and seemed unhappy, just pointed to the side and explained. Don't you see the medical machine, because I took you to the hospital because you were seriously injured. All his muscles were torn apart and his ribs were broken. Having said that, she pressed the young man's face and asked, how are you feeling? The first time a girl asked about him, Meng Siwu was both shy and scared, his whole body stiffened without uttering a word. Han Charon was still sitting there, coldly confirming his name and then making an offer, do you want to join my team? Seeing that Meng Siwu was still silent, she immediately gave the trump card. What do you think about the salary of 1 billion won? Furthermore, we will negotiate the profit of the monster item based on your contribution. Meng Siwu's face was distorted, he couldn't believe this was true, it was crazy, 1 billion in salary and money from monsters, he thought. And I heard, your sister has a blood disease, she was taken to our hospital, right? We will provide your sister with free care at SH's hospital, Han Charon continued. Hearing about her sister, Meng Siwu suddenly changed her attitude, her face gray, and she asked with a frown. What must I do to deserve that price? It was planned, Han Charon quickly continued. Create strategies to deal with every monster I'm about to hunt. Mang Siwoo hasn't agreed yet, you need to think carefully first. Han Charon also said that because she owed him a life, she would repay that by paying his sister's fees. That night, Mang Siwoo lay on the hospital bed, his head filled with thoughts. No, I have to believe in Gotube's abilities, S plus his insight, the super SS power I have there. Gotube exists. A channel of human gods can make rank S hunters into supporting roles. There's no need to limit yourself by accepting the offer. Besides, Seo-a's serious illness I have to find a cure at all costs. Speaking of her sister, Mang Siwoo's lonely heart felt warmed. Mang Seo-a was caught up in a dungeon explosion before and suffered from a blood disease. This disease currently has no cure, it can only relieve symptoms. But with Gotube, Mang Siwoo believes that when they can learn their characteristics, there will be a cure for Seo-a. The only thing is, the pharmaceutical fees are very expensive, so you need to have a lot of money. And what can be done now is to end this year's worth of video editors. 50 million won already. Regardless of the patient, Mang Siwoo pulled out the computer and started editing. When Han Charon said his sword was 20 billion won, he suddenly had a good idea in his mind. What if I create equipment and sell it? I can earn billions of won immediately, he thought with a cheerful smile. However, it's so sad that there's only one registration ticket left. If you want to register more, you have to register for a membership card and it costs 1 million. Of course, the way to create weapons is to learn metallurgy. Having no other choice, Mang Siwoo closed his eyes and took a risk, randomly searched for a channel, and then pressed register the next minute. Yet he immediately received the metallurgy of this SS rank god Hephaestus. But looking at that video tutorial, why did he break iron and curse like that? Why do all the gods act so harshly? A week later, Mang Siwoo's body seemed to have improved noticeably. She could pull the beam with one hand and looked very cool. The nurses standing behind watched their eyes light up like stars praising the back. Patient Mang Siwoo's body tastes better, right? The doctor said his recovery was indescribably fast, even for a hunter. Maybe he will be discharged from the hospital tomorrow. Overhearing what the nurses said, Mang Siwoo himself did not believe that he would be admitted to the hospital tomorrow. He silently told himself to practice more. His super strength proficiency has increased slightly to 1.01%. But there is an inadequacy in that if you use super strength regularly, Mang Siwoo's muscle bundles will be destroyed like last time, so you cannot skip practice. While thinking, his younger sister Seo-a had always been behind him. The two brothers talked quite emotionally, talking to each other very closely. Seo-a revealed that she gets free treatment, thanks to Han Charon's request, and that she also visits from time to time. When he practiced, she asked if he was okay and left. Maybe Charon did it because she liked my brother, Seo-a smiled and teased him. Mang Siwoo shyly refused outright. But my child still has nothing to tease. No, you're very famous, the nurse only talks about you. Mang Siwoo was as dry as a dry firewood. He didn't bother to answer your child's joke and said seriously. Forget it, stop talking nonsense, and go inside, you have to go somewhere. Where are you going? Seo-a asked curiously. Going to make money, Mang Siwoo confidently had plenty and clenched his fists in response. And so as soon as he was discharged from the hospital, he immediately went to the rank F Goblin Cave dungeon to get down. Regardless of whether they were fighting in groups or how many people there were, Mang Siwoo still rushed inside to beat them to the ground, warming up his muscles a bit. Soon they became sandbags for him to practice. I'm tired of beating them, so now it's time to take them home and cook porridge. Mang Siwoo carried a few rushes to the place of Korea's most classy blacksmith. As soon as he saw these lowly goblins, the owner of the metallurgical clan Seo Palguang immediately looked uncomfortable and snapped. What to do? I said to bring the ingredients, not the trash. Now I will teach you how to cook more, follow me. Say it and do it. He immediately showed it right away, breaking rocks and explaining. Look closely, forging doesn't just use strength. Just because you get good ingredients doesn't mean you'll easily create A or S rank equipment. Looking at the way he hammered down, Mang Siwoo's eyes lit up, attentively observing little by little. He used up all of his youth to study metallurgy and 20 years after he was 40. Now he is a talent with skillful characteristics ranked A. Seo Palguang gave the hammer to Mang Siwoo and said, I already made it for you to see. Now it's your turn to try. He nodded yes and started his work as a blacksmith. Seo Palguang stood behind and crossed his arms, looking serious and thinking. He said his name was Mang Siwoo, right? He didn't ask me to train his equipment or consider him an apprentice, he didn't even ask me to join his association. In return for the fee, he was the first person to want to borrow his factory. I allowed it because I was curious about what his intentions were. Seo Palguang thought so and then pouted and criticized the way Meng Siwu held the hammer. Nowadays, people think of metallurgy as a simple skill like in a game, but it took me 20 years to get here. It's better than the kid who keeps his face stuck in his phone. He probably watched some videos on YouTube and thought it was easy, but he was wrong. The face is drilling, I don't know who is wrong. At the same time, Kim Shoun, a representative of Shoun Company, the best item buying and selling company today, suddenly went to Seo Palguang's place to buy weapons. We decided to provide equipment for SH Group, saying she frowned angrily at the noise Meng Siwu made. Annoyed, he turned and pointed straight at his face. Aziz, can you be quiet for a moment? I'm talking. After Kim Shoun cursed, he felt curious about what that idiot was doing, so he ran over and picked up the sword next to him to look at it. What is this? You call this a weapon? What do you think, Shoun? Seo Palguang asked. She frankly commented the sword was rough, the shape was cracked, and who could use this? So what? But what if it was made of goblin and kobold bones? The worst ingredients for this were created by a novice today. Hearing Seo Palguang's explanation, Shoun was shocked and asked him if he had just accepted the student. The more I heard Seo Palguang, the angrier it felt because Meng Siwu didn't care about his offer to be a disciple. Besides, the two of them had never seen anyone make weapons from these materials, so they were quite curious. It took a hard time all morning, but my metallurgical proficiency was only 0.7%, and my equipment was considered trash. Meng Siwu was extremely bitter, looked at them, and muttered, I'm proficient in creating weapons, but how dare I sell this? Shoun stood by and overheard, seizing the opportunity immediately. Are you planning on selling that sword? My name is Kim Shoun, representing the Shoun Company. We only care about the best items in Korea, so if you want to sell it then I'm willing to buy it. Meng Siwu was quite surprised because this company is quite famous among hunters who consider trust and reputation to be the core. He couldn't believe that one day his humble items would be looked at. Meng Siwu smiled and asked, so how much can you pay? Looking at it for a moment, Shoun gave a specific number, enough to satisfy Meng Siwu, 1 million at a time. And then after the deal was successful, Meng Siwu immediately rushed into the path of making money, starting to farm monsters to collect materials and forge weapons like crazy. Shoun was so happy that her whole body howled loudly when she sold a quality shipment. That's great, our Shoun Company has officially signed a contract with SH Group. Meng Siwu also followed suit, narcissistic. I did quite well, right? She was as happy as opening a festival, loudly flattering the young man to the blue clouds. Not just quite good, from meeting delivery targets to perfect equipment quality. Without you, we would have been in big trouble, Mr. Meng Siwu, thanks to you. If you want something just tell me, I'll do everything to give it to you. After praising him, she asked him to check the account quickly, the money had already been transferred. Meng Siwu just waited like that, took out his phone, and checked immediately. I got it, 2,800, Meng Siwu said. Shoun didn't believe it and told him to look closely at each number one by one. Meng Siwu followed suit, once again opening it to carefully count each number one by one. What the hell, 9 numbers, 284 million won. I'm rich. After calming down, the young man began to sit on his chin and calculate. I can register as a GoTube member to save Seo. Meng Siwu has researched and filtered out 3 magic channels capable of creating miracles. Hua Tuo, a legendary doctor, is physically divine. Hippocrates, an ancient legendary doctor, is called the father of medicine. Hyo Jun is the best doctor who created Oriental medicine and is called the easy root of Oriental medicine. It costs 300 million won a month to register all 3 of these channels, but in my current situation, I can only choose one of them. Meng Siwu thought, closed his eyes, and took a risk, randomly choosing one of the 3 channels to click. That's why Meng Siwu became Hua Tuo's registrar. Received divine medical rank S+. It was very difficult for him to master divine medicine on his own, so he needed to find herbs to increase his proficiency. Because he didn't know where they were or who sold them, Meng Siwu asked Shoun to buy them. But after hearing the price, the young man almost fell backward. I can get it, but it will be expensive. They're about 300 million won, but I can give you a discount of 2 million. Meng Siwu's heart ached like a cut, and tears poured down, tears flowed out. He held back his heart and said yes, asking Shoun to buy it for him. He scratched his head thinking about the future and silently calculated, I received 280 million won from Shoun, but I also had to pay him 280 million won, and I will lose 4 million won at the end of the month. The membership fee is 100 million won. Considering the subscription fee I pay at the end of the month, I need to make money now. But even if I earn more from forging weapons, how can I earn 100 million won? Thinking of this, a dark plan immediately appeared in Mang Si-woo's mind. Let's take advantage of NutTube to get rich. Mang Si-woo creates the coolest vlogs that no one has ever done, causing viewers to go from surprise to surprise. Did you know hippos are not horses? The monsters you are seeing are called walruses in Korea, in other countries they are called hippos, blaba. Mang Si-woo disguised himself in a hippo suit, rambled to explain for a while in front of the camera, and then pulled out a red cloth, carrying out his conquest of hippos with his bare hands. The first step, get them interested in a red cloth. How to conquer the second hippopotamus, just hit them and catch them. After handling it, Mang Si-woo grinned with interest. You guys think it's easy, right? If you find the strategy useful, please go to the channel registration and turn on the notification bell. As he predicted, the newly uploaded video immediately went viral to the top trend, and viewers commented and shared the video a lot. Mang Si-woo looked at the skyrocketing registration and smiled proudly. As planned, they seemed to like the content of this video. Mang Si-woo raised his chin and thought in his heart, this time public opinion reacted well because of the power of the media. I couldn't keep fighting low-level monsters. Very well, I have to take advantage of it while it's floating, because the high demand needs to increase the intensity of stimulation to maintain viewer interest, and that's Mang Si-woo's expertise. Anyway, analyzing monsters and coming up with tactics is your job. Having 1 million subscribers is no longer a dream. But it's so unlucky, I haven't had time to do anything yet. The video is still in the middle of being fixed, and the dungeon hasn't been scouted yet. Mang Si-woo was overloaded, so he had a nosebleed and his mind was spinning and he fell to the ground lying motionless. A long time later, Mang Si-woo opened his eyes to look at the ceiling. His head was still dizzy. He was thinking about quickly editing the video to upload when he looked at the clock. Oh, it was 4:30 a.m. I've been painting for a day, he shouted in panic. Mang Si-woo scratched his head, sat sadly and thoughtfully, and tormented himself. Just like this, I will die of overload before I earn money. I have to hire an editor. What a wise decision, a great invention. It was as if humanity had found fire. Mang Si-woo posted the recruitment immediately, and after sitting through a dozen CVS and sample videos, he found a suitable person, and then quickly arranged for them to go to the cafe to discuss. But it's really angry. I've been waiting for half an hour and still haven't seen any candidates. What kind of interview are you going to? Mang Si-woo was very upset. Looking at his name Park Deku and the way he talked, he thought it was an experienced uncle. Impatient, he texted more messages to ask. But no one replied. Mang Si-woo tried to wait a little longer. Waiting forever and waiting, I still couldn't see anyone. He angrily banged on the beam table and prepared to leave. Shit, asshole. It's okay if you don't curse, cursing the person who comes right away, it's gentle and doesn't want to get angry. Sorry for being late, I'm here for an interview. Are you Mang Si-woo? The girl in front of her said, panting. Mang Si-woo was surprised. Stuttering. What, Park Deku, you thought it was an uncle just now, but she's such a beautiful girl. The girl sat down and hesitantly explained, I edited a video until late, so I forgot to make box lunches for my younger brother. I can't read the message because I'm rushing here, I'm sorry. Mang Si-woo didn't mind either, his tone of speech was a little lighter. When I found out she was still editing videos, I was quite shocked. Park Deku was not surprised, nodding to say it was true that the video was tied to her job application. She edited it within 3 hours. Mang Si-woo was speechless at this time, bowed his face, clenched his fists, and spoke in a serious voice. Ms. Park Deku, you can work anytime, right? She responded immediately. Yes. Mang Si-woo chuckled in his heart. Normally it takes him 8 hours to edit a video, but 3 hours, if it's only 3 hours, how much money can he make? He agreed again with the candidate. As in the announcement of at least 2 videos per week, there are times when I post 3 more videos, but of course, I will pay you extra for overtime. From now on, I hope you can help, editor. Park Deku was hired, so moved that he shed tears and nose, shaking hands and folding his head repeatedly, I'll work hard. So clever. At this moment, a rank C dungeon exploded nearby, everyone rushed to escape, and residents quickly evacuated. Park Deku was scared and urged his boss to evacuate quickly. But the position she chose was the wrong boss, her boss is a neurotic fairy. Mang Si-woo smiled excitedly. Editor Park Deku, you said you could work right away, take this and follow me, let's go make money. Contrary to Mang Si-woo's excitement, the editor witnessed this scene for the first time, so frantic that her boss spoke several times before hearing it. Guys, Click like and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Mang Siwoo smiled despicably to welcome the audience to his channel. A moment after Mang Siwoo had executed all the monsters, new security personnel began the killing spree. They were surprised to see him standing on those goblin corpses. Now it's time to do the coloring, there's no other monster to fight. The video was edited to trend immediately, the audience immediately flooded in with comments. She looked at her boss's barbaric laugh and chilled her spine. Why is he so famous? I indeed edited the video but I don't understand. But one thing I'm sure my boss is a crazy guy on NutTube. Have I become like that? Park Deku held her head and wondered. I just edited Mang Siwoo and it's been a day and I'm already depressed. Park Deku looked back at reality and saw her two younger siblings happily eating fried chicken to regain some spirit. Tell yourself to work hard. At least because of my younger brother. After the monster farm was completed, Mang Siwoo continued his weapons forging work. The equipment he made from orcs from the dungeon explosion was now a little better. It's just that the system is still stingy and doesn't admit it. Say a painful sentence. You made some equipment worth considering giving away for free. Mang Siwoo is upset. What the hell is free? Luckily the proficiency has increased by 1.4%, otherwise, he'll quit right away. While being stunned, Shoun came somewhere. Wow, the quality of equipment has become better. Seo Palguang also noticed it at this moment with an admiring expression. What? How did an apprentice who hasn't created this in 1 month? Mang Siwoo was humble in the spirit of sarcasm, smiling in response. Ha ha, I still have a lot to learn. After speaking, he immediately turned to Shoun to happily discuss and negotiate the sale of items. She even complimented him on being a little more handsome now, seeing him like a zombie before, he looks more human. Speaking of which, Mang Siwoo suddenly pinched his cheek, feeling fatter. Since Park Deku edited my video, I have more time to sleep, even though I'm still busy. Even though last time, after paying a bunch of money, I realized there was only a little left for living expenses. But recording videos is not the editor's job, I should pay her more, Mang Siwoo thought, then remembered the trashy bastard Kang Dokil who tortured me like a torn dog. So you must treat your employees well because of both the skills and hard work she has. After a while, he suddenly remembered to ask her about the herbs he had asked to buy. Shoun happily pulled out a brown wrap from her bag. Let's see, a total of 212.44 million won. Mang Siwoo fell backward when he heard it, even though he had expected it. However, after hearing the price, he still had a huge headache. Returning to the motel room, he began to pull out the video of Dr. Hua Tuo and began researching. Mang Siwoo sat and listened but his brain wanted to explode. What is he talking about? At this rate, I can't increase my proficiency in divine medicine, he watched and cursed. But how does proficiency increase to bullshit? Mang Siwoo had just brainstormed before, feeling a little understood, it was related to learning to use herbs to cure diseases, researching and combining knowledge about their functions. Oh, here it is, chimpanzee notifications sent continuously, you understand the definition of herbs, S plus divine medical proficiency has increased slightly, and S plus divine medical proficiency is not 4%. Mang Siwoo still couldn't stop being angry, his mouth was still mumbling the words old man Hua Tuo, why the hell do you have to complicate the problem? After a while, he finally finished filling his prescription. But looking at this bowl, I don't know if I can drink it, it's black and boiling like poison. The system says it's healthy, but doesn't that mean it can be harmful? Try it and you'll know. It's just medicine from divine medicine, how can it let me die? Mang Siwoo thought and picked up the bowl of medicine to drink. As for whether it's good or not, you can tell by looking at it, that he hasn't had time to drink it all yet, his whole body is lying on the ground shaking, and medicine is flowing everywhere. Mang Siwoo was regretful and cried all his tears. My money, the price of herbs. At this time, the system has just sent a notification that you have absorbed healthy drugs. The proficiency of the SS superpower has increased slightly. Looking at these lines, Mang Siwoo had tears in his eyes. Unfortunately, looking at the pile of medicine filling the floor, I wondered if I should lick the rest. With increased strength, Mang Siwoo immediately went to the cave dungeon to fight. The reason he came here is because the vampire is the E+ rank monster in the Fallen family. First, to record a video of content with bats, he must have a mouse. The second is to take the fallen vampire corpse for equipment. And finally, research the epidemic of falling vampires. Because they live in at least small groups or at most hundreds of individuals, all diseases originate from them. However, fortunately, bats themselves are not immune to disease, if bats carry the disease, perhaps related to blood diseases. And Mang Si-woo's purpose is to find out why they can resist epidemics. This could lead to clues about Seo-ah's blood treatment. This is not easy, but with divine medicine, this will be possible. Mang Si-woo went deep inside. His intuition helped him discover something that wasn't from the falling flood, it came from somewhere else. Mang Si-woo fled aside to take a look. What the hell? What he saw were Kang Dokil's juniors. They were fumbling around with swords. How did that guy get in? As long as you are assigned to enter the dungeon by the hunter management, other hunters are not allowed to enter. Of course, sometimes there will be some cases like this. I just accidentally touched Kang Dokil's gang. Those guys are probably rank C hunters. What are they doing in the rank E+ dungeon? No matter what, seems like they're stalking me. Mang Si-woo thought, then stood up and laughed, locking his mind to prepare to warm up his body. Below, Kang Dokil's juniors are still very confident that they can beat Mang Si-woo to pieces. Kim Ji-woo said proudly to the guy next to him. Okay, that bastard is an awakened person with no characteristics of someone weaker than rank F. Where is the confidence that he dares to enter this dungeon alone, even though it will be good for us? Ji Minchul waved the sword in his hand in response. I don't know, but he's smart, he must have planned to deal with falling vampires. Hearing these two guys arguing, the last guy to Yuna seemed a little quieter, stroking his chin and thinking analytically. After watching his video, it seemed like he didn't need to rely on his tactics very much. Ji Minchul didn't listen, he argued over. Do you believe that anyone can trick others by editing videos? It's funny, this place is more like a grave than a dungeon. I don't know who to lie to, Mang Si-woo hasn't lied yet. Where did you jump down behind Kim Ji-woo and pat his shoulder? Where is Kang Dokil? Well, I don't think you guys talk bad about me like that, and I hope you don't answer. Kim Ji-woo's distorted face slowly turned around and suddenly looked at Mang Si-woo, who was not there. He was startled in fear and quickly dodged away. People say that if you hit one, you'll be crippled, but this is a bit different. Mang Si-woo doesn't respect his old colleague at all. He beat someone who was so tattered that he didn't recognize his human form. They were afraid to pee in their pants, kneel and beg. Wait, I'll tell you everything. But Mang Si-woo didn't like it. He cracked his arms and teeth, smiling gloatingly, and approached. Now I don't want to believe that the four limbs are not very intact. First, just fight for pleasure. After beating them for a while, Mang Si-woo thought about interrogating the reason. It turns out that Kang Dokil told them to come to teach him a lesson he remembered, embarrassing him. As for the ending, it's clear who lost. Where is Kang Dokil? Mang Si-woo asked. That guy's face was swollen, he stammered and said he didn't know. Mang Si-woo looked at those lying around guys and said, I'm lucky that I haven't broken your necks yet. Go tell Kang Dokil, next time it will be his turn. Speaking of this, the young man laughed despicably. Turn around and squeeze him tightly in your hand. Well, it's hard for you to open your mouth and talk to him. And the ending was that all three guys, each of them, were completely injured, dragging their bodies to the boss's place. Kang Dokil looked at them without knowing what to say. And yet, following them was Mang Si-woo, who smiled despicably and stood proudly greeting. Haven't seen each other for a month and a while. When the others saw Kang Dokil preparing to catch fire, they tried to explain that this was just a misunderstanding because Mang Si-woo had ordered them, but they were forced. However, Mang Si-woo did not forgive them, just pointed to the guy next to him and praised them. Your plan to lure Kang Dokil is great, do you know? He still tried to argue bluntly, shaking his head, constantly trying to explain. No, I was forced, and then he ran away in fear. Not only one but all three of them found excuses to run away quickly. Mang Si-woo stood there looking at that bastard Kang Dokil and felt sorry for him. Then it's just you, that's why you should treat them well. I don't understand how bad you are to the masses, but they asked me to deal with you. Kang Dokil got angry, his face grimaced bitterly and turned red. Why does an ordinary E-rank hunter like you possess such power? Mang Si-woo replied calmly, I don't know, then asked him why he did that to me. But he didn't want to say it, so I didn't need him to answer. Mang Si-woo just rushed up and fought head-on with that damn old boss. Kang Dokil realized he was different, but still stubbornly believed in his rank B hunter power. Although Mang Si-woo looks quite confident, he is still a bit scared. A punch can completely break a sword. But it seems he still lacks sword blocking skills. Its sword path is very fast but simple, I can completely get it, Mang Si-woo thought. While fighting, Mang Si-woo remembered when he was still working in Kang Dokil's precepts and was treated like a slave and beaten for nonsense reasons. The more I think, the hatred in Mang Si-woo will flare up. He recorded the way Kang Dokil farmed monsters countless times on camera and watched it hundreds of times. During the time editing his videos, He continuously analyzed his habits, tendencies, and behavior to the point that he wanted to read this bastard's thoughts. Kang Dakil repeatedly attacked, but no hits were made, all of which were cleverly avoided by Meng Si-woo. He gasped like a dog, thinking silently in his head, could he read my mind? No, I'm a rank B hunter, while you're a mediocre rank E, after what only rank S hunters can do. Kang Dakil took a blow to the face, and landed with his beloved sword, still not believing this was true. I confirmed Meng Si-woo's power through the video on YouTube, but I can't admit it. Meng Si-woo, I will kill you, he shouted and performed the aura sword skill, earning light to fight. Meng Si-woo was surprised and waved his hand to call him calm. But it's better to advise a guy who's mad to let him punch normally again. If that smart guy has done this much, Meng Si-woo won't be gentle anymore, even if his muscles break a little, let's fight hard. Since it couldn't last long, Meng Si-woo needed to finish the other guy in one blow. As soon as the words ended, Kang Dakil's arm landed right in the face, the other guy was enough to roll a few meters away and hit the wall. The whole house also collapsed around it, turning into ruins. They fought and were so shocked that the inspection agency had to come in and consider them. You are Meng Si-woo, right? I am Lee Minjung, captain of the 4th Guard team under the supervision of the department. Now you have to go to the Hunter Management Department and talk. The pink-haired girl held up her card in front of Meng Si-woo and then sent the young man back to the station in an instant. Meng Si-woo was in a position with 100 mouths that were difficult to explain, but still gently cooperated with. Sitting across 4 eyes from each other, Lee Minjung began interrogating. So the hunter named Kang Dakil intends to attack you. Meng Si-woo nodded in agreement, adding that he had a video as proof. Lee Minjung also validated the video, so it didn't make it difficult to make it easy, but there was some doubt. This was not something that could be ignored, but he was reported to have an idiosyncratic false consciousness. Meng Si-woo looked at her and was quite scared. The guards were police officers protecting hunters, but in other words, they hunted down criminal hunters, also known as butchers. I heard that the captains are at least rank A hunters, her demeanor is really like a butcher. Meng Si-woo observed for a while and commented. To her question, he had nothing to say, the rank and characteristics were unrelated. He used the excuse that he was a victim to cover it up. Lee Minjung knew he was wrong, hummed, and apologized. Because of my work, I often tend to be suspicious of others. So based on the video evidence in the Arachne dungeon and the deserted area you sent, we'll handle it properly. Kang Dakil may never see the light again, let's end the interrogation here. Thank you for your cooperation. Meng Si-woo said goodbye quickly, not wanting to stay here for another moment. As soon as Meng Si-woo left the room, outside staff quickly entered. But before he could say a word, his boss's power humiliated him like a dog. An upset Lee Minjung came out, as expected, she couldn't stand it. The subordinates tried to come up and interrupt to explain. Isn't it obvious, that the captain is not a normal guard, and there are rumors that she is about to be promoted to the rank of S. Lee Minjung concluded a sentence that made his subordinates speechless. But the hunter Meng Si-woo has nothing wrong. Because he didn't behave strangely and had a human scent, even though he was quite suspicious, Lee Minjung still let him out. On the way back, Meng Si-woo, although released, did not feel well at all. As he walked, he thought about everything in his head. Luckily everything was over, I didn't know when this would happen again. If my NutTube channel becomes more famous, then I could become a target of a criminal organization. With my current level, even fighting Kang Dakil is difficult. If it weren't for information about his strength, behavior, interests, and even S+'s wisdom, I would have died a long time ago. If you think about the difficulties ahead, the most important thing here is the Super SS power, but it is difficult to increase it by 1%. Thinking of this, he sideboardly looked at Hercules' training page, and began to worry. There was also the event to complete personal training with him. But there was still only one person registered. A crazy thought suddenly flashed in the young man's mind. Winning this event is a good thing, right? The next day, Meng Si-woo immediately called Hercules out to discuss. He was quite surprised because he was a human being who could stay in his channel. But at this rate, I can't give you a workout program. Like I said, I can't get to your place, so I can't train directly, Hercules explained. Seeing that Meng Si-woo didn't say anything, he came up with a good way. Even though I can't correct your posture, at least I can teach you, so don't worry. Let's start now. It's like breaking a bull's horn in one blow. Since I can't lose my precious subscribers, let's get started with my subscribers. Having said that, Hercules immediately observed Meng Si-woo's body and made a few comments. Now his body balance is not good at all, especially the muscles behind him. Meng Siwu interrupted. Back muscles, you mean back muscles, right? Hercules sighed boredly at this single subscriber. He explained to Meng Siwu. The back muscles are the muscles in the back of the body and the back muscles are just a part of that. This is the slice muscle, the back part is the trap muscle, the back arm, the arm muscle, blah blah. Meng Siwu sat listening and was stunned, gasping in surprise at this pile of knowledge. After learning about muscles, his super strength proficiency has also increased slightly. After studying theory, when it came to practice, Hercules showed him his divine martial arts, destroying the house with one leg, and shocking Meng Siwu to the core. Meng Siwu is now enlightened and begins to understand. Hercules is also not a bad teacher. He composed a suitable exercise for Meng Siwu and sat and observed through the phone screen. The first basic lesson is to do 1,000 push-ups, and Meng Siwu listens immediately. After the first round of super strength exercises has been completed, the mastery of the super strength continuously increases. At the same time, the editor sighed, while editing, muttered in her head. My boss, he's a good guy, but he's a bit crazy. What kind of tactics does he create again? Ha ha. Looking at Meng Siwu smiling and talking on the screen, she couldn't understand why he was filming at the vampire bat cave. Vampire bats are very crowded and live in low light conditions, making filming a speed race very difficult, but this is how he attracts attention. After investigation, the current record is 58 seconds by a rank S hunter, Johanna of the Fire Mage channel. Today I will challenge that record. The speed rate on the world-conquering boys bat cave started right here, Meng Siwu said, then stomped his foot on the bag, causing the cave entrance to immediately collapse. Then it was over, so the hunting trip ended, and that was the new record that Meng Siwu had just created. It's unbelievable, the content is so silly that it's posted to millions of viewers right away. Meng Siwu took a shower and checked his comments but couldn't believe it. Johanna of the Fire Mage channel with 41 million subscribers commented. He wiped his head and thought. Meng Siwu knew clearly that she would panic when she heard the news that her record had been broken. The Fire Magician's comments had already created an effect, but if they cooperated, 1 million views would be within reach. Meng Siwu thought about the prospect of countless amounts of money and was happy for everyone. It wasn't until a while later that I was able to regain my composure, thinking the plan was at the top of popularity. At a time like this, I have to post more stimulating videos. My current super strength proficiency, after being trained by Hercules, has surpassed 2%, I can destroy the vampire bat cave with only 2% if it increases further. Divine martial arts, right? So Meng Siwu excitedly opened his phone to connect and asked for information immediately. The answer to Hercules is no, personal training is something else, and divine martial arts is something else, the name is already different. Furthermore, for a newbie like you, building muscle isn't the only problem, because divine martial arts is a method created to suit his strength. Without the superpower that Hercules was using, he couldn't use it. Meng Siwu was very sad but still tried to respond. But I'm using your superpower. Hercules was startled when he heard it and asked again in panic. You're using my super strength? Meng Siwu nodded and said yes, confirming again. You're training me. Hercules did not believe it, trying to explain that this was just personal training, not superpower learning. But the truth is still clear before my eyes. Meng Siwu's answer is still that I have learned super strength. Seeing that Hercules was still confused, Meng Siwu racked his brain and thought again. Isn't the characteristic of God something I can learn on GodTube, or is what I learned not the superpower of Hercules? After thinking about it, he immediately showed him that superpower. What the hell, itself. Hercules was extremely surprised and couldn't believe this madness. After calming down, he began to find the origin of things, and how he connected with GodTube. He was completely human, without gods. Meng Siwu told the story of meeting two strange saints and picking them up in front of his phone. Hercules rested his chin and thought. The two people you met, I think it seems like they're from GodTube. But the more we think, the more we analyze, the more chaotic we become, because as Hercules said, the people there cannot come here, this space and the God's space cannot come into contact with each other. Furthermore, Meng Siwu's GodTube account is also a management account. Perhaps one of the two people he met was a manager, but he couldn't receive God's power just because he had a management account. If that were the case, the managers would have become gods of the gods. Hercules analyzed for a while and then said. Meng Siwu took the opportunity to ask him to accept him as his disciple. However, his answer was still no, because it was very complicated. Meng Siwu continued to insist but still to no avail. He had no choice but to move on to another option and learn about the registrant on GodTube. As Hercules explains, it can be considered an element of the god. This means that the more people register, the more the god is enhanced, and the more generally the better. That's why Hercules trained him even though it was annoying. In other words, besides muscle, the registrant was the only thing he was interested in. Mang Siwu came up with a good idea. He laughed despicably, looking at Hercules making a suggestion. So what about this, 100 subscribers? If I help you get 100 subscribers, teach me divine martial arts. So with the cowardly plot, Hercules' channel increased its view rumbling. Hercules paid no attention to honor anymore, nodding to Mang Siwu. Here you are, master, from now on I will be your loyal subordinate. Mang Siwu also joined in, smiling and responding. Go ahead, I'll tell you interesting ideas, but you have to teach me divine martial arts. Hercules of course did not dare to refuse this offer anymore, explaining to him how important the number of registrants was to a god. You can understand it as a kind of belief, our god is formed from the faith of others. So the more people know us, the stronger it becomes blah blah. Mang Siwu's head hurts, it's too complicated, the gods are increasing in parallel with the number of subscribers, there's something like that too. Before entering the divine martial arts career, Mang Siwu asked Hercules to talk like a normal person, and then do whatever pants he likes. Now, the first thing the day must do to learn divine martial arts is to train your muscles first. Practice seems better than theory, Hercules said, then began showing Mang Siwu a show of his technique. Just looking at him, he was also affected, his head hurt like a beating, feeling a huge source of pressure. Hercules warned. His soul level is still weak, if he uses divine martial arts in this state, his mind will be destroyed. So you need to train your mind first. Although this was quite difficult, Hercules thought it was okay with Mang Siwu. Because in his situation, he absorbed the power of God. Mang Siwu also roughly understood that if you can absorb the power of the mind transferring God, then you can support his power. Hercules also suggested to him Confucius channel to increase his mental strength. So I have to register as a member and pay that huge monthly fee, Mang Siwu frowned and asked herself. Looking at the 153 million balance in the account, along with the 100 million monthly fee of the Hua Tuo channel, and the 1 billion monthly fee of the Confucius channel, Mang Siwu is sad. Where can I find such a large amount of money? Could it be that I'm going to kill people and rob people? The next day, Mang Siwu immediately went to the blacksmith shop to earn some money. He made an appointment with Shoan to buy him Shoan's tendons to make equipment. Holding them in his hand made his heart ache because he felt sorry for the money. 113 million flew in a split second. Without much time left to suffer, Mang Siwu immediately took action. Shoan is an A+ rank monster, so he can't hunt it. If he wants to learn divine martial arts, he needs to have 1,000,000,000, which means he has to use good materials to forge good equipment and sell it, until he can forge my equipment. Money is his enemy, eternal enemy, Mang Siwu wondered sadly. After a continuous hammering, Mang Siwu's gloves were finally forged. He picked it up and looked at it for a while, thinking to himself, even though I tried my best, it was still just a waste. Seo Palguang and Shoan gasped in surprise and stammered to ask him how he could create it so quickly. Mang Siwu asked with a friendly smile. Miss Shoan, how much does this sell? What, you want to sell it, with an equipment like this? It's beyond my ability, no customer can buy this level of equipment. Mang Siwu was bewildered. Could it be that the other 113 million is wasted? What if it can't be sold? You also have to subscribe to the Confucius channel, then pay Hua Tuo's membership fee, and Seoan's medicine fee, bullshit. Having no other choice, Mang Siwu continued to insist. Don't be too pressured, sell it for me, it's just a throwaway item. Hearing the sentence waste goods, Shoan froze for a few seconds, nodded in agreement to help, then turned to the blacksmith uncle, borrowing his name to brand it for auction. With talent and a mouth that sings better than birds and wide relationships, Shoan easily turned Mang Siwu's gloves into the hottest item of the auction. To add more stimulation, the female MC added fish sauce and salt. Oh, it's finally here, this item includes Master Seo Pal. The item we present is a pair of high-quality gloves. This pair is made from ogre's ribs, making it extremely durable. Analysis shows that it can enhance the carrier's strength. As soon as the words ended, the bottom began to stir up discussion. It can enhance the carrier's strength. Is it a piece of strengthened equipment? Isn't it only the Master Aurelian who can create enhanced equipment? Not keeping people waiting long, the MC announced that the auction would start with a starting price of 10 million won, an increase of at least 5 million won at a time. Of course, anyone with money wants this good item, from 10 million to 20 million, 80 million, 100 million to 350 million won, there are still no signs of cooling down. A number that surprised everyone came from Han Charon, but that still didn't end with 2.1 billion from butcher Lee Minjung. Han Charon of course refused to give up, continuing to raise the price to 3 billion. Lee Minjung is no less than 3,100 million. And then the final takedown was 4 billion belonging to Han Charon. A pair of gloves costs only 4 billion, making each batch look like they only dare to swallow their saliva. Even the owner and merchant Sion could not have expected a huge number. Looking at the balance at about 3 billion 6 after deducting 5% of taxes and service fees for Sion, Meng Siwu couldn't help but hug her happily. The offer to give Sion and Seo Palguang something to thank them seemed to be flatly rejected by them. However, whoever did that, Meng Siwu decided to show Seo Palguang how to use a Lego, which he learned in Hephaestus's video at some point. With money in hand, Meng Siwu quickly spent lavishly, immediately buying a membership card of Confucius Channel. Money is paper, burning is not a pity. In addition, I took my sister to a restaurant once. Anyway, except for everything, there were still 2 billion 6 left in my account. While waiting for food, Meng Siwu opened Confucius's video and sat down to understand it more deeply. But, what the hell, he could feel extreme boredom. After watching the entire video, Meng Siwu mastered the basics of Confucianism. It's just that even though I've received the power of a god, I still haven't received it completely, so I need to improve my proficiency first. Hercules also basically explained that divine martial arts were not something he could use at this level. It's like bending the laws of the world. Not just using super strength, it will be necessary to control the magic power to focus on the tendons, and the magic power is the source. To use it more proactively requires organ amplification. To contain intention and make it easier to control magic power, Eastern mythology calls it internal force. The more Meng Siwu heard the explanation, the more he didn't understand anything. Hercules came up with a good idea: if the body is not good, the mind will also be damaged. So learn complex content yourself through your muscles, and let headaches transmit knowledge to your muscles. It's too difficult to understand, mortals like me don't want to understand. The next day, with a plan to let the muscle pain be imbued with divine thought, Meng Siwu enters a non-stop workout. But in theory, that's the case, but in reality, I'm tired and still resting. He closed his eyes, his hands clenched, and his mind began to imagine that Hercules was once human. He was a hero who became a god in human form. Didn't Hercules also try? Didn't he also have difficulties? Didn't he also fail? Divine martial arts, a power that can make you doubt as you achieve it, is not just martial arts anymore. I'm not talented, so what I need to do now is make a relentless effort. Thinking about it, he swung a blow forward, as calmly as he could. Ting, indomitability will spread throughout your body. Ting, the SSS gentleman's proficiency in benevolence, integrity, and wisdom has increased. Ting, you have mastered the divine martial arts of Hercules. The system announcement kept ringing. Meng Siwu slowly opened his eyes and felt a cool breeze blowing over his shoulder. But, what the hell, vandalizing the park or what? He scratched his head pretending to know nothing. Hick, I have to find my gym, how much does it cost to rent that? At the same time, the editor is still working hard to help her boss improve. This video is similar to the video about vampires last time. Fire Mage broke her channel boss's record and regained the top spot. A terrible record in 11 seconds. The raid ended at the very beginning. Meng Siwu still recorded vlogs with such content, but surprisingly, this time the video conquered only 4 seconds, a shocking number to the mind. The editor was shocked and didn't know if he was working for a human or a crazy person. After the video was uploaded, views quickly reached the 300,000 mark. Meng Siwu looked at that number and smiled with satisfaction. Thanks to divine martial arts, the number of viewers and comments has skyrocketed. At this rate, earning 100 million won is no longer a dream. Meng Siwu chuckled in his stomach and glanced to see what the people below said. However, none of it had anything to do with him, but there was no nonsense about Han Charon's failure to raid the Rank S dungeon. He was curious and also clicked on the link of the article someone commented on to check it out. Hey, Han Charon failed, no joke. Meng Siwu frowned. Didn't he say how he failed? What do I care about? I don't have time to care about him, I'm very busy and he'll find a way. Having said that, he immediately threw the phone aside and let people do his job. In contrast to Meng Siwu, after failing to conquer the dungeon, the capital of the SH Corporation is diminishing significantly. Han Charon had to endure a lot of momentum and horror from people in the company. Returning to the main problem, His proficiency in divine medicine had increased significantly, and he was able to decompose his sister's medicine. Since learning Confucius's gentlemanly skills, everything seems to be sailing smoothly, and all characteristics have increased. He believes that Seo A's illness will improve if she continues to increase her proficiency in divine medicine, and she will be able to cure Seo A. But the problem here is money. Meng Siwu has to pay the registration fee, not the membership fee for Hua Tuo and Confucius, but also the money to buy medicinal herbs. Blah blah. Just thinking about it makes me want to die. Looking at the bowl of medicine in his hand, he suddenly thought of a bold idea. How good it would be if I could sell this medicine. Just thinking about it, you can't do it, because medicine cannot be sold indiscriminately without a certificate like an item. While I was still thinking about whether I should rely on Shoan or not, someone came knocking on the door to bother me. The person in front of him claiming to be Han Charon's secretary, Kang Min-jae, wanted to discuss with Meng Siwu a bit. After sitting down with 6 eyes looking at each other, he opened his mouth. The owner wants to restrike the dungeon. Meng Siwu quickly realized she needed my help, so he immediately responded. She wants me to make a plan. That's right. But what happened inside the dungeon? Meng Siwu asked seriously. Kang Min-jae bent down in despair and replied, sorry, but I don't know the details either. She just told me that your support was extremely necessary. The mistress wanted to come herself, but because many eyes were watching, please forgive us. Can you talk to her? Hearing these words, Meng Siwu seemed moved, but greed did. On the outside, he showed sympathy, but deep down he wanted to scream. I can smell it, the sweet scent of nuttuber. Following his assistance, Meng Siwu quickly went to the gym of the SH Hunter Guild headquarters, where Han Charon was training. It was quite surprising that she was wearing the gloves he had made and was swinging around with her sword. Not wanting to disturb the beauty's concentration, Meng Siwu just stood behind her chin and observed, silently judging. The movement is still not systematic because my knowledge has increased after acquiring the S+ and Star God martial arts comprehension. She was just swinging her sword in confusion, and I also heard that Han Charon had never learned swordsmanship. She only instinctively fights swords. Swordsmanship is based only, and instinct will eventually reveal its limitations at times. If she could learn martial arts, she would make great progress. Could it be that the only way for Han Charon to progress is to become a disciple of a sect? Meng Siwu wondered and then answered himself. But what good is Han Charon doing that? SH Group won't allow it anyway. When she becomes a sect disciple, she will no longer be a member of the SH Group. Indeed, family background is not always a strong point. After all, Han Charon's level is sure she can continue to learn martial arts from GaTube. But she can't watch GaTube, not to mention study. Thinking of this, the thought of making money flashed in Meng Siwu's mind. He held his chin and smiled quite well. Wait, then I'll watch and wake her up. Even if I have to pay extra membership fees, I can make money from Han Charon. Whether it's 1 billion or 10 billion, it's not much for SH Group's niece. Maybe I can still pay the teaching fee. About 10 billion is fine. Ha! It's too cheap. Plans to retire with Han Charon. The money that Meng Siwu keeps making is like paper, is not as good. There is so much to like. While still immersed in the dream of wealth, Han Charon had just finished practicing and turned back to blame the manager for not calling him. Looking at her appearance, Meng Siwu was extremely embarrassed. Looking continuously without blinking, he exclaimed in his heart, silently praising. She's really beautiful. After greeting each other, sitting around drinking a piece of water, and eating a piece of cake, the two went to the main point. Han Charon told him what happened in the dungeon. There wasn't a monster in there, just some beast that looked like a wolf, but no one had ever seen it. Meng Siwu was quite surprised with this answer. Wolf-type monsters are quite diverse. But as far as he knew, no wolf monsters were appearing in the S-rank dungeon. I don't know how to deal with it, Han Charon gritted her teeth and said. It was surprising, even though it was a rank S dungeon, with her rank of power, she wouldn't have said this. Furthermore, she doesn't go alone. Besides Han Charon, she also has talented teammates and great equipment. Yet they still fail. No, they don't fail, but everything is out of their hands. Meng Siwu still silently pondered, the only monster in the dungeon, so strong that rank A hunters could not destroy it. The dungeon levels are determined by the total amount of mana inside the dungeon, so it is almost impossible for the dungeon level to be decided by a monster. But there are special cases where the dungeon level is based on a single mutant monster. Another concept of mutation is a super monster. A monster possesses all the mana in the dungeon. If they encounter it, Han Charon's inability to deal with it is completely understood. With this speculation, Meng Siwu could not hide it, hastily telling Han Charon. He also suggested that it was best for her to give up this dungeon. There was no reason to challenge her again. It's not so important to risk your life. But Han Charon's answer was still no. She had to do it. If she couldn't, she had to do it. Because of its failed raid, in which SH Corporation encountered turbulence, it was said that billions of won evaporated in just a few minutes after the article was published. To prevent the price of the coupon from continuing to fall, Han Charon is forced to successfully raid the dungeon as soon as possible. Of course, this is a life or death situation, but billions of won are worth risking your life for. An S-rank super monster that has never appeared before will be difficult, but because of money, Meng Siwu will of course agree. He smiled happily, held out his hand and said, I understand. In return, I have one condition: please let me film and post it on YouTube and 10 billion, I can't offer a lower price. After paying the price, Meng Siwu still felt confused. Han Charon immediately transferred the 1 billion deposit. To facilitate the re-raid, that evening they both returned to the dungeon again to seek more information. Even though he was not confident that he would defeat the super monster rank S, Meng Siwu was still confident that he could survive and escape from here with super strength and divine martial arts in her hands. As soon as he entered, he realized that the atmosphere here was completely different from other low-level dungeons. The deeper you go inside, the quieter the space becomes. Still busy trying to help her fix the loose gloves, the monster had loomed in front of them. Meng Siwu, with a panicked and frightened face, looked at it for less than a second and realized it was in a completely different realm from theirs. The wolf bared its mouth full of sharp teeth. Han Charon screamed for Meng Siwu to quickly hide behind her. Meng Siwu was stressed, thinking about a way to escape. Would he be able to defeat this black wolf if I intervened? No, more importantly, we're not ready. I just came here to confirm what kind of monster this is. We should not confront it. Thinking about it, Meng Siwu turned around and patted Han Charon's shoulder, and shouted for her to run away. Both quickly ran away. After leaving the dungeon, Meng Siwu still felt scared, the image of the black wolf bearing his wide mouth still haunting his mind. Since I'm not facing it directly, I'm not sure, but it takes at least 5 crane hunters to confront it, Meng Siwu thought. Meng Siwu, what was that power just now? Han Charon asked. He didn't answer yet and asked her back, why could she return alive without any casualties before? Han Charon doesn't know either, he can only say he's lucky. This time if you can plan, they will take care of the raid. Meng Siwu stared at her, thought about something, and then turned around to leave. I will contact her after I finish analyzing. As soon as he returned, he went online to look for clues. Even the papers published by the association had been rummaged through enough, but it was still impossible to find any useful information. Even after using S+ wisely, he still couldn't find any clues. A few days later, Meng Siwu was still training hard as usual with Hercules, and his super strength proficiency had also increased significantly. Meng Siwu was tired and lay on the ground whining about how life is full of surprises. So bored, he took the video recorded in the dungeon and studied it. Hercules also approached curiously, peering around. Wait, isn't this Fenrir? Hercules suddenly exclaimed. Fenrir is a mythical monster that appears in the epic, also known as the wolf demon, and is a wolf that kills gods. The reason Fenrir is called that is very simple: it is the creature that brought about the destruction of the Ragnarok Empire. Only the upper foundation reaches to the ends of the blue sky and the lower foundation reaches to the ends of the ground. Fenrir destroys everything, it finally devours the world, bites and kills Odin, the god at the head of Norse mythology. What is Fenrir doing here? How did it get here? Meng Siwu looked at Hercules in panic and asked. However, he didn't know, maybe he was the only one who didn't know how to get here. Hercules affirmed that 1% of this is Fenrir and that he fought it once. Of course, he won. Meng Siwu asked curiously. If I fight it, what will happen? Hercules did not need to think about responding immediately. I'm not sure if it might take a second. Until he was bitten to pieces, Meng Siwu's face was distorted when he heard it. If you don't believe it, you have to believe it. But Hercules pointed out the difference. Perhaps this Fenrir seemed extremely weak, it had turned into a wolf cub. Why the hell is the size of a small mountain like that? The species in legend is indeed different. It also carries jewelry I've never seen before. Look, it looks like that thing sealed Fenrir's power. It's Gleipnir, heard it can't be cut off with anything in the world, Hercules pointed and said. After finishing his judgment, he said another teasing green sentence. With this kind of Fenrir, I guess it will take a minute until you are bitten to pieces. Seeing that Meng Siwu didn't care about his words, he invited Meng Siwu to tell him the black wolf's weakness. With the price of sharing video content with 200 subscribers, Mang Si-woo immediately has the skill to destroy Fenrir at his fingertips. Having the necessary information about the monster, Han Karen immediately ordered SH Group's hunter team to prepare to patrol. But as soon as they saw Mang Si-woo constantly holding the phone to stream, talking, and laughing, it didn't suit their eyes. Thinking that he was just a bad guy. Following the captain's orders, they all quickly went inside the dungeon. Mang Si-woo still didn't take his hands off the phone at all, so noisy that it made others uncomfortable. Not only people, but even the monster who heard him doing nonsense had to get out of his head right away to get excited. Faced with this enormous pressure, Han Karen wondered if re-rating was the right choice. Should she ask for help from Rank S Hunter? She wondered and then answered herself. No, I am not allowed to ask for help from Rank S Hunter. The raid is not a simple matter, this is a stepping stone for SH Group to enter the hunting industry. So I have to proceed with it with the power of SH Group. SH Group must be famous for its strength. Mang Si-woo is still filming the mainstream video. He is excited to tell them what a guy who conquers the world is. Mang Si-woo turned to Han Karen and asked her if she was ready. After receiving the nod, he immediately rushed up to open the way. His bare hands jumped up high, giving Fenrir a love kiss straight into his mouth. Everyone around was surprised and wondered what the hell was going on. Damn it, I hit it head on, but it's still okay, so annoying. But Hercules said that this attack would be effective, which Mang Si-woo thought and smiled and comforted himself. Fenrir was suddenly beaten and howled loudly. Realizing the tense situation, Han Karen immediately ordered the whole team to attack. Hercules said he could last about a minute until he was torn to pieces, but for a minute that piece of shit, the young man couldn't even last 10 seconds. His strategy was useless, it only worked because it was Hercules. Mang Si-woo looked around, realizing that they still had the trump card, the Gleipnir chain, that was binding the Black Wolf's formidable power. As long as those chains prevent its movement, it is not impossible to win. On the other side, the hunters were continuously firing bullets towards the monster, from the fireball to the sword. However, that was nothing to Fenrir, he swallowed the fire and gave them love kisses. And when attacked next, Mang Si-woo reminded Han Karen about the necklace on the Black Wolf. She immediately rushed up. Below he also calmed down and focused on all his senses, continuing to rush up and punch Black Wolf's muzzle. Luckily it worked, now just keep attacking. However, after 1 second of carelessness, he was given 3 strokes straight into his chest by it. It's too dangerous if the reaction is a little slow. Then that attack tore my body apart, Mang Si-woo thought. But coming here, he felt something unusual, although he wasn't sure, but right before it touched his body, it hesitated for a moment. Without much time to think, Mang Si-woo was shocked again, continuing this one-on-one battle, needing to seize the opportunity immediately. Once again, the young man used all his strength to attack. With his bare hands clutching the chain, he tried to lift the Black Wolf and knock it forward. The moment the Black Wolf rolled back to the ground, Han Karen rushed forward, slashing a line. She did it and landed skillfully. Only Mang Si-woo was so unlucky, being blown away quite a bit. But it wasn't over yet. I thought it was over, but no. Fenrir suddenly stood up from the ruins. It screamed and cried out in anger. This is a battle we cannot win. Everyone looked at this scene and the answer appeared in their minds. Mang Si-woo was seriously injured, and he didn't understand why. It was clear that Fenrir attached to Gleipnir was sealed. But it's still the wolf demon, the thing that devoured the world, the wolf that once killed the god. Fenrir is Fenrir, at the current level, attacking it is impossible. However, thinking about it over and over, Mang Si-woo still found it strange. This is the same situation as when in the Black Troll dungeon, Han Karen also saved team members like this. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't win against Fenrir. Seeing the tense situation, Han Karen immediately ordered everyone to retreat. Using all the neurons in his head, Mang Si-woo finally understood. He suddenly jumped up and stood in front of Fenrir, who was opening his wide mouth. But what was even more surprising was that it did not attack him, but stopped all activities and stood still and observed. Regardless of everyone screaming for him to run away, Mang Si-woo still stood like a statue. It was absurd from the beginning, Mang Si-woo said. He didn't know about a team of S-rank hunters, but with the current team attacking it, there was no chance of winning it from the beginning. That's why he found it strange. Why haven't I died yet? How did everyone come back alive? Why didn't anyone die? Mang Si-woo looked at everyone and questioned. Seeing that no one understood, he pointed towards Black Wolf and explained. If Fenrir wanted to, it would have butchered us all. No one here can come back alive. It forgives everyone. It's saying run away because it doesn't want to harm people. It's truly virtual, more virtual than virtual words. Mouth said, but Meng Siwu also found it hard to believe. But the truth looms before the eyes. If you don't believe it, you have to believe it. Fenrir never attacked first. Seeing that everyone was still standing in a daze, Meng Siwu continued the sub-preach. If it's a regular monster, then that's absurd, but it's Fenrir, so this is true. Having said that, he immediately recounted the myth of the Black Wolf, from the fact that he was abandoned from birth and saved by the gods, feeling happy because he finally had friends. But then it was abandoned by themselves, bound in chains just because they feared its power would bring hell. The god of war Tyr came and vowed to save it. Fenrir believes and waits for Tyr, considering him his friend. However, the gods did not release it, and Tyr also ignored it. As promised, he placed his left hand in Fenrir's mouth. However, he didn't do anything. He didn't want to hurt his only friend. However, the gods were afraid of its power, so they planted a handover on it and made it unable to close its mouth. Fenrir had to endure the chain until Ragnarok happened, still so lonely and in endless pain. After Ragnarok took place, Ragnarok's wrath engulfed Fenrir and it began to devour the world, destroying all the gods. Only Tyr does nothing. Because even though his mind is covered with anger, he still doesn't forget the only friend who cares about him. After Meng Siwu explained, he finalized a sentence. Although it's hard to believe, Fenrir doesn't want to hurt us. But whether they like it or not, they still have to get rid of it. If you ignore a rank S dungeon and the dungeon breaks, it will be impossible to save it. And even if the dungeon explosion didn't happen, if Fenrir came out of the dungeon, there was no guarantee that it wouldn't harm everyone. We'll pull back and report back to the association so they can send rank S hunters to help. I give up conquering this dungeon, Han Charon seriously announced. Meng Siwu also had no choice, because what she said was right. To prevent the possibility of disaster, they had to deal with Fenrir. He looked at it with sympathetic eyes. Even though he didn't know why it was there, he still felt something was hidden. Fenrir was abandoned again. In mythology, the apocalyptic force named Ragnarok severed Gleipnir, and Fenrir escaped from that chain. But for some reason why he was tied to Gleipnir again, could he have been abandoned here? This dungeon is used as a barrier to trap Fenrir, so it cannot escape elsewhere. Like in mythology, it was abandoned from birth, so it would probably die alone here. At the same time, explaining why the dungeon's level was rank S, the mana of the dungeon that imprisoned it was what was measured, not Fenrir's mana, Meng Siwu secretly calculated in his heart. Now he couldn't do anything with his current strength. He can only quietly go back to his daily life, craft equipment, record videos, earn money, and practice GodTube's features so he can take care of Seoa. However, he still felt something was stuck for a moment when he suddenly turned around and ran towards the screaming monster. Meng Siwu sympathizes with Fenrir. He does not want it to be gathered and destroyed by other S-rank hunters. It does not harm anyone. It also wants to have friends and live. I will destroy this dungeon, Meng Siwu looked back and said. After listening, everyone couldn't believe it and talked. Impossible, breaking the dungeon means breaking space, only gods can do that, how is that possible? Whether it can be done or not is clear to Meng Siwu. Since he was imbued with the thoughts of Gentleman Confucius, the young man had completely changed his way of thinking. He just wanted to be a kind person, not someone good for himself, but for someone good to those around him. Around me. Meng Siwu smiled curly, then turned on the first mode of the divine martial art Hercules and launched the Dragon Strike. A source of terror power, a landslide, a feeling of being forced to suffocate. The space began to be torn apart, and Meng Siwu lay motionless on the ground. Realizing that the situation was not right, Han Charon hastily ordered a retreat, then quickly carried Meng Siwu out with all his remaining strength. As for Fenrir, he still stood there watching them leave, and after everyone left, he gradually disappeared. The next day, Meng Siwu suddenly opened her bewildered eyes and woke up from her coma. Looking at the ceiling, I couldn't believe I was still alive. Turning to the side, I saw Han Charon in the same situation waiting for a long time. After learning of the situation through her, Meng Siwu can breathe a sigh of relief, as the dungeon that is considered to be Fenrir's captivity has collapsed. Luckily it can safely return to the divine world. The mythical beast has been resolved, now comes the human problem. Han Charon did not reveal what happened in the dungeon to the media and also asked his teammates to keep their mouths shut. At the same time, he also officially announced that he was the conqueror of the dungeon. Han Charon also asked Meng Siwu if he wanted her to fix it. However, of course, Meng Siwu's answer is no. Is that because you want to hide your power? Han Charon asked curiously. Meng Siwu shyly scratched her head and ear in response, hiding her strength. Who, me? No, if there's a problem, I can't do NutTube anymore. What a wasteful reason. Meng Siwu also spoke up to comfort her not to blame herself, because this dungeon is so special, she is completely capable of raiding the rank S dungeon. Gossiping for a while, my mood was much better. Han Charon asked if he wanted to work with me. But the answer is known. After solving all the problems, Meng Siwu immediately pulled out his phone to check the stats. Surprisingly, old man, super strength proficiency has increased by 13%, divine martial arts by 9.3% and gentleman's insight and bravery have also increased greatly. Up to now, all he posted on NutTube was destroying the dungeon, but what he destroyed this time was the dungeon space. Compared to the past, Meng Siwu has used divine martial arts, which is a big step in his life. Because his health had recovered, Han Charon was discharged from the hospital first. The first thing she did was go to her grandfather's place, report the situation, and even ask for tuition to study Meng Siwu's swordsmanship tutor. It's truly virtual. An awakened fake rank A+ would ask a lowly rank F to be a teacher. It's paradoxical. To carry out his search, Meng Siwu found the I species on GodTube with 3 suitable subjects. First is King Xiang Yu's heaven-breaking divine sword, followed by Dragon Slayer, Siegfried's Dragon Slayer sword technique, and founder of the Wudong sect, Zhang Sanfeng's Taiji sword. Meng Siwu thought excitedly. I think these 3 swordsmanship styles are most suitable for Han Charon. Of these 3, there is a sword skill that she likes. I should show her and let her choose. I will have to pay a membership fee, but it doesn't matter much. In addition to 10 billion won, from now on I also receive a monthly tutoring fee. We should just check the membership fee. Thinking about it, the young man immediately opened it. Calculate immediately. But, what the hell, what a surprise, 2 billion per channel subscription. Indeed, murder doesn't require a knife. Meng Siwu almost dropped his phone, he couldn't believe the high price in the sky. Wait, don't say, the last time I checked, it cost 100 million, right? The fee increased to 2 billion. This means that the more channels you register as members, the more membership fees will increase. So, next time it will be 3 billion, not maybe 4 billion, 5 billion, and 6 billion. The more Meng Siwu thought about it, the more confused he became. Just after being promoted to fairy, then he was sent to hell again, heartbroken. He held his head in pain and shouted, no matter how much money I make, I don't feel enough. While he was sad, he suddenly felt some energy from afar. Meng Siwu quickly looked around. It was surprising. It was Fenrir in his extremely cute form wagging his tail happily welcoming him. Before he could understand anything, he still wondered why it was here and in this form. Fenrir immediately vomited a mouse he had just hunted, then ran away, causing Meng Siwu to chase after him and want to stop breathing. More than that, it even placed the pigeon in his hospital room, making it very difficult to understand. Hercules saw Fenrir and was extremely startled, propped up his chin and questioned Meng Siwu. But strangely enough, why is Fenrir in your dimension? How does it exist there? Meng Siwu agrees with this. No one knows anything. I'm also very curious, but aren't you the only one who doesn't know how to get here? Tantalized, Hercules looked frustrated. Nonsense, my dimension and yours cannot intersect. No, believe me, it's unfair. See, even my muscles object here. Meng Siwu didn't want to win or lose with him anymore. The more he said it, the more upset he became. At the same time, at the base of Pandemonium, a criminal organization that dominates the world's criminal community, the #1 target of the National Security Bureau in all countries, server rank member Myung Jawong received a new mission. Customers asked to explore Meng Siwu's strength. It was okay to beat him to the point of being disabled. The next day, Meng Siwu's body was still not very pressurized. Practicing with illness certainly makes progress much slower. But luckily they still increased a little. At this time, where did Fenrir come from to bring him a rabbit the size of a calf? Could this kid go up the mountain to hunt animals? How could he bring back a rabbit in the middle of the city like this? Meng Siwu wondered. He looked at it cheerfully, thinking that just a few days later it would stop this action. But he was wrong again. Not only did he not stop, but Fenrir also hunted the bear he brought to him. Having no end to this situation, Meng Siwu knew he needed to take some special measures to end the situation. And so, on the day he was discharged from the hospital, Meng Siwu excitedly returned home, probing his younger sister Seo Ah about her hobby of soliciting her little one to accept Fenrir as a pet. But I couldn't believe she liked Fenrir so much. Seo Ah gave Fenrir a new name, Hyuk Dori, which means black stone. Both of them quickly became friends and had known each other for a long time. Mang Siwoo looked at this scene and felt a little more secure in his heart. Fenrir's work has been resolved, now it's time to become a private tutor. Before getting into the main content, Han Charon and Mang Siwoo need to resolve the contract first. She transferred enough to him, the missing 9 billion from previous cases, in the next minute. Looking at the balance of more than 10 billion in the account, Mang Siwoo was so happy that she just wanted to jump up and down to celebrate. This amount of money is on par with the hoard of a family of 4 for those 277 years. As for tuition, Mang Siwoo offered to let me perform live before deciding. He wasn't sure how much he could ask for and didn't know how much she could pay, so it was better to let her take a look and decide directly. There are a total of 3 types of swordsmanship that I will show you right now. I was already filtered to choose what was right for her, but it was difficult to choose one of them. So, please tell me what you feel is most appropriate to say, and then Mang Siwoo will show it to Han Charon. He had thought about joining a membership before, but it was too expensive, so he only came to take a look at the basic ways and then overstudy. It's said to be overstudied, but it makes Han Charon very surprised. She couldn't even see the movement of the sword. Every move he creates enormous power. Han Charon looked and shook her eyes, not daring to ignore it for a second. All of these are 3 types of swordsmanship I can teach you. Mang Siwoo finished fighting and turned to look at Han Charon and smiled. At the same time, next to the SH Hunter's headquarters, Pandemonium's men were watching Mang Siwoo, waiting for the opportunity to go out to attack. However, I've been waiting forever until his shadow hasn't been seen yet. They were so impatient that they kept complaining. The bastard Myung Jawong sat idle, licking his lips and thinking of a plan. That Myung Jawong guy, have you noticed that he has a younger sister? He happily said to the guy next to him. If we cause trouble outside of the mission, it will cause trouble. If the investigation agency realizes this and Lee Minjung participates, the other guy will speak out against it. Before letting him finish his sentence, Myung Jawong interrupted, confidently affirming that the people behind the council would handle it well. If we just play a little with his sister, it won't take any time. Think about it, that bastard will crawl to our place voluntarily, as soon as he finds out we're arresting his sister. So, let's go catch his sister. I want Mang Siwoo's sister, Myung Jawong, to smile proudly and prepare to leave. But who caught who doesn't know. Fenrir has seen and evaluated, he's probably hungry too, those 2 guys are probably about to start work soon. Hi.